The year was 1964. A young lad named David crouched beneath his blankets. A tiny transistor radio was pressed against his ear. He dared not make a sound. Out of the speaker poured music unlike anything he'd heard on the BBC. Loud, rebellious, exciting. This was pirate radio, a voice of freedom in a nation starved for a good time. David was hooked. He, like millions of others, became a loyal listener, tuning in every chance he got. This wasn't just music, it was a revolution. In those days, the BBC ruled the airwaves. They offered just 3 stations. 2 played classical music and somber news reports. The third, the Light programme, was meant for young people. But even that was tame. The BBC wouldn't play the music British youth craved. The Beatles, the Rolling Stones, the music sweeping America and the rest of the world. To the BBC, pop music was a fad, a threat to good taste. They were out of touch with a generation hungry for something more. Enterprising young men saw an opportunity. Inspired by Radio Mercure, a ship broadcasting pop music off the coast of Denmark, they found a loophole. International waters began, where a nation's control ended, roughly 12 miles offshore. British law couldn't touch them there. These pioneers bought ships, towed them out to sea, and began broadcasting. Pirate radio was born. Imagine life aboard a pirate radio ship was an adventure. Take Radio Caroline, perhaps the most famous. This converted ferry, anchored off the Essex coast, became synonymous with the movement. Young DJs, barely out of their teens, lived and worked aboard these vessels. They braved rough seas, cramped quarters, and the constant threat of raids. Yet, the camaraderie, the passion, the knowledge they were changing history made it worthwhile. The ships weren't luxurious, but they were beacons of freedom. Pirate radio wasn't just about the music, it was a revolution in style and attitude. These stations played the music young people wanted, introduced the concept of the celebrity DJ, and, well, weren't afraid to play advertisements. This was a shock to the BBC, who were used to complete control and a really rigid advertisement-free format. Suddenly, millions were tuning in to hear Kenny Everett's zany humour on Radio London, or Tony Blackburn's smooth voice on Radio Caroline. Pirate radio had totally captured the hearts of Britain's youth. The government, however, was not pleased. These stations were operating outside the law, challenging the BBC's monopoly. Raids were attempted, DJs were arrested. Each time, the pirates fought back, their listeners rallying behind them. Finally, in 1967, the government passed the Marine Broadcasting Offences Act, effectively outlawing the pirates. Many stations closed, their final broadcasts filled with emotion and defiance. Their fight, however, was far from over. The Pirates' Rebellion had a lasting impact. The BBC, forced to acknowledge the changing times, launched BBC Radio 1 in September 1967. This new station, focused on pop music and youth culture, was a direct response to the pirates' success. Ironically, many former pirate DJs, like Tony Blackburn, were hired to host shows. The pirates had lost their ships, but won the war. They had forced the BBC to change, to embrace the music and style of a new generation. The legacy of pirate radio extends far beyond British shores. It helped shape the sound and style of FM radio worldwide. It broke down barriers between music genres and introduced new ways of engaging with audiences. From the rise of commercial radio to the personality-driven format of modern broadcasting, the influence of those rebellious DJs on the high seas is undeniable. Here's a twist. One young American who worked on a pirate ship later became a media titan. His name? Ted Turner. He learned the power of challenging the establishment, of giving the people what they wanted. These lessons would serve him well when he founded CNN, revolutionizing television news. The spirit of pirate radio, of daring to be different, lived on in his groundbreaking work. So, the next time you hear a catchy jingle on the radio, or tune in to a 24-hour news channel, remember the pirates who dared to challenge the status quo. They changed the world, one song at a time.